Whoa, what happened here? Upon entering my house, I find furniture toppled over and belongings strewn about. Someone had ransacked the place. I have to call the police. I quickly reach out to the authorities and also call my part time workplace to inform them that I won't be able to make it for my evening shift. I notify my in laws to come over, and just to be safe, I send a WhatsApp message to my husband, John, who's due back tomorrow after a long absence. Mary, are you all right? What's going on? Is everything okay? My in laws arrive just as the police do. During the police investigation, it turns out that no high value items or banking cards are missing. Above all, I'm relieved I didn't walk in on the intruder. What's missing seems to be daily necessities, clothing, food, and children's items. Wait a minute. Haven't I seen this scene before? From my past experiences, I have a hunch about who could be responsible for this. My name is Mary, a 27-year-old housewife. My husband John is 30 and currently on a work assignment away from home. We have a preschool-aged son and have been married for 5 years. We were hoping for a second child, but the timing clashed with my husband's work assignment, which has already lasted 2 years. Although he tries to come home twice a month, there are busy periods when he can't make it. I last saw him 2 months ago. To stay connected with our son, he had set up a network camera at home, but he's only used it once due to his busy schedule. I had been hesitant to consult him about one issue, not wanting to distract him from work. It concerns my sister-in-law. Just as I was about to speed through the household chores after dropping off our child at preschool, the problem person shows up. Hey there. Oh, sister-in-law, hi. What brings you here today? For the past 3 months, sister-in-law has been regularly dropping by our home, unannounced, just making herself at home. Sister-in-law is 34 and the mother of 4, part of a big family. The family has kids ranging from infants to elementary schoolers. 2 of their preschoolers even go to the same preschool as my child. My sister-in-law, or SIL for short, is a large woman with a blunt personality, for better or worse. Whether it's shopping or dining out, she always wears sweats. When she showed up at preschool events in her standard sweatshirt and sweatpants, even I was shocked. Sure, she's known for her casual attire, but she's also known for picking fights. So much so that I'd rather not cross paths with her at preschool lest people find out we're related. She has a habit of taking things from our home on a daily basis. Taking these cookies, okay? You took some yesterday. We can't keep giving you things. What? You're imposing me? It's John's money anyway. You have no right to complain. She asserts that since I'm a stay-at-home mom living on John's money, she can intimidate me. After all, it's a mother's job to support the kids. You have just one while I have many. It's only fair you help me out. We initially chatted because our kids were close in age, and I thought we might get along. Now she just says unreasonable things like this. Sister-in-law works part-time at a lottery ticket store in the evenings. She usually visits when she knows I'll be home, like after dropping the kids at preschool. When the kids come home from preschool, or even during dinner preparations and mealtime, she'd just barge in and rummage through the rooms. Not only that, she leaves everything a mess and, of course, never bothers to clean it up. We receive $600 a month for living expenses from John, separate from rent and utilities. It used to be more than enough, and I was even saving money. Although John had always told me to feel free to spend money on what I like, I have been saving it for a rainy day. However, since sister-in-law started coming over, my monthly savings have dwindled to $100, and I've even dipped into the negative over the past 3 months. Because of sister-in-law, the money John gives me vanishes each month, and I've been covering the shortfall using the savings I had before we were married. Realizing this can't go on, I finally gathered the courage to tell sister-in-law that this needs to stop. Sister-in-law, it's getting tough for us too. Please pay for the items you take. Why? Just get more money from John. We have a lot of kids and need it. You're costing us $200 a month just on household items. What? You're charging your own family? It was clear reason would not get through to her. I feared this situation could ruin our family, so I told John I'd like to work part-time. I didn't want to worry John, so I just said I wanted to boost our savings. The real challenge was what to do with our child, so I decided to consult his parents. Mother-in-law, I'm considering working part-time. Why? Aren't you getting money from John? Actually, sister-in-law takes a lot of household items, so we're running low on money. What? Really? But taking a few things isn't a big deal. No, it's just a few things. All right, I'll talk to her about it, so don't get so worked up. It seemed like mother-in-law was still oblivious to sister-in-law's wrongdoings, believing her daughter wouldn't do such a thing. From what John told me before, mother-in-law has never been mad at sister-in-law and spoils her rotten. I wasn't expecting much to begin with, but this was a tough nut to crack. My frustration with sister-in-law was escalating, and I couldn't hold back my anger any longer. Talking directly to her wasn't working, so I decided to hatch a plan. Soon after, I started a part-time job. I would work mornings, pick up my son from preschool, drop him off at John's parents' house, then work my part-time job until evening. This new routine helped me avoid sister-in-law, but it seemed to trigger a barrage of angry messages from her. Where are you? Where are the house keys? I know you're there. Open up. When will you be done? The frequency of her messages increased, showing her annoyance with my constant absence. Bring some tissues around in the evening. What time in the evening? Before my part-time job, so let's say 5 p.m. Oh, sorry, I'm working my part-time job until 6 p.m. You're deliberately avoiding me. No, I'm just working longer hours because we're short on money. So it's my fault we're short on money. Exchanging these lines, even sister-in-law's pettiness started to feel amusing on WhatsApp. Life was much calmer without meeting sister-in-law every day. Unlike my peaceful state, sister-in-law was restless. One time, we went out to eat with our parents-in-law and sister-in-law's family. She was giving me icy stares, but I didn't care and just enjoyed my meal. Mary, no part-time work today, huh? I had planned this dinner with father-in-law and mother-in-law for a while. Sister-in-law turned her face away, clearly irritated. In some ways, I owe my sister-in-law for my newfound assertiveness to dealing with someone as dense as her. Later, we had tea at John's parents' house, and all was quiet on sister-in-law's end. We then headed home. I was hoping that sister-in-law would finally give up, but things took an unexpected turn. A month later, after dropping my son off at preschool and at John's parents', I went home to grab something I forgot. I was in a hurry because I didn't have much time before my part-time job started. What the? I came home to find furniture overturned and belongings scattered. I've got to call the police. I hurriedly called the police and informed my part-time job that I'd be taking the day off. I also informed my parents-in-law and asked them to come over and sent a precautionary message to John, who was coming home tomorrow. Mary, are you all right? What happened? Is everything okay? I began talking to a private investigator. As this happened, the police arrive. During the investigation, we find that no high-value items or bank cards are missing. Above all, I'm relieved I didn't confront the intruder. What's missing are daily necessities, clothing, food, and stuff for the kids. Wait a minute, haven't I seen this situation before? Mother-in-law, I don't mean to point fingers, but isn't it possible that sister-in-law did this? My daughter! No way! She would never do something like this. Who else would ignore valuable stuff and take only daily items? It has to be sister-in-law. Mary, just because sister-in-law takes things from your home doesn't mean she would do something like this, mother-in-law insists. Although it may be natural for a mother to trust her daughter, mother-in-law refuses to call sister-in-law to the scene. Finally, father-in-law, who had been silent all along, speaks up. The police are here. She should prove her innocence by coming. As father-in-law says that, well, you have a point. Mother-in-law concedes, unable to go against father-in-law, and promptly calls sister-in-law. What's up? Sister-in-law enters with her child, freezes for a moment when she sees the police, but I don't miss it. Oh, why are the police here? Apparently, our house got ransacked and some things are missing. What got taken? Daily items, clothes, stuff like that. So, did they figure out who did it? No, not yet. Ah, okay then. Upon hearing that the culprit behind the home invasion is still unknown, sister-in-law visibly relaxes. Suspicious of sister-in-law's reaction, father-in-law starts to question her. Be honest, if you're caught on a neighbor's camera, you're the one who will be in trouble. It's not me. As this dialogue unfolds, I get a call from John. Mary, are you all right? Any injuries? Yeah, I'm fine, and our son was at your parents' house. Good. Any leads on who did it? Actually, I hadn't talked about this yet, but I explained everything to John. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I would have warned her. I'm sorry. I didn't want to worry you. Have you checked the camera? Camera? Remember? I installed a network camera so I could talk to our son. Is it still there? Oh, right. I had forgotten about it, but thanks to leaving it plugged in, it seemed to be working. After telling John that the camera was active, he checked past footage on his mobile phone. I end my call with John and head back to the living room where everyone is. You know who did it? What? How? John had set up a camera so he could talk to our son while he's away on business. Uh-huh. And the footage shows this person. I show the mobile phone to the police and my parents-in-law and their sister-in-law, rummaging through the house, then leaving with bags full of stuff. How did you get into the house, sister-in-law? I press her for an answer and sister-in-law falls silent. Tell the truth. Father-in-law interrogates sister-in-law with a stern look. Well, the thing is, sister-in-law slowly starts talking. I noted the lock code while relaxing at my parents' house. I then asked someone I know to make a duplicate key. While father-in-law looks at sister-in-law in disbelief, mother-in-law keeps her head down in silence. Mother-in-law, are you okay? As mother-in-law's shoulders tremble, I wonder if she's crying because she feels betrayed by her daughter. You foolish daughter! Mother-in-law screams, her face turning red and filled with an unprecedented rage. Mom, I just took a little, that's all. What do you mean, a little? I've been giving you around $200 every month because you said it was tough with the kids. If you were stealing supplies from Mary's house, what happened to that money? Apparently, mother-in-law had been giving sister-in-law about $200 every month. I can't even look people in the eye knowing my daughter ransacked a house like a thief. It's all my fault for spoiling you. Come clean about everything. Sister-in-law, who had never been yelled at by mother-in-law before, shrinks back, her eyes welling with tears. It seems she spent the money she received from mother-in-law for daily necessities and on her own clothes and bags, but something doesn't add up. We all find it strange that sister-in-law, who always wears sweatshirts and sweatpants, claims to be buying clothes for herself. So where are these clothes and bags you supposedly bought, sister-in-law? They're at home. Then sell them, turn it into some money, and pay back what you've taken so far. This is complicated. Sister-in-law, who's bad at giving up, was desperately trying to come up with an excuse. Then her older child casually let something slip. The clothes aren't Mom's anymore, so they're not at home, right? What? Turns out she had been buying men's clothing and bags. Did you buy them as a gift for Dad? No, for a young man who isn't Dad. Shockingly, it's revealed that sister-in-law has been financially supporting another man. Mother-in-law, upon hearing this, is even more furious and starts talking about disowning her. Even the police seem uncomfortable in this escalating environment. So what will happen with this situation? I think it would be better to settle this privately since it's a family matter. Yeah, what should we do? Father-in-law, seemingly stuck, turns to me. At that point, sister-in-law frantically latches onto me. Mary, you wouldn't actually press charges, would you? Think about how sad it would be for the kids if their mom got arrested. Don't try to use the kids to escape responsibility. Apologize to Mary right now. Mother-in-law, her eyes fierce, starts berating sister-in-law again. Mary, I'm really sorry for what I've done. Please, please, please forgive me. Sister-in-law almost cries as she kneels and clings to my feet. The kids are watching with concerned faces, and honestly, it feels wrong to show them adults squabbling like this. Fine, I won't press charges. Oh, thank you, Mary. Sister-in-law quickly changes her expression. But there are conditions. The condition I give is that sister-in-law must pay back the $900 she took over the last 3 months by working part-time and giving us $100 each month. I can't pay $900. I have 4 kids. Didn't you say supporting your kids is a mother's duty? So it's only fair to return the money you've taken from your brother's children who are suffering because of you. Well, that's... Sister-in-law seemed frightened by my words. If you have time and money to spend on another man, then work to pay us back. The monthly payments are even a compromise compared to what you've used. I quickly corner sister-in-law, but my words don't seem to reach her. But still, enough! Enough! Be grateful you're not getting sued and accept the conditions. Mother-in-law raises her voice again as sister-in-law's indecisive attitude. I understand,
After hearing from the victim, I think accepting these terms would be the best course of action,
says the police officer. Sister-in-law, with her head hung low, reluctantly agrees. Even though the kids will inevitably find out and I do feel sorry for them, I can't muster any sympathy for her sister-in-law. Exploiting her brother's family to save on living expenses while lavishing money and attention on another man is something I'll never understand. The next day, when John came back, she ended up getting scolded even more. Sister-in-law was in tears, apologizing profusely, but John was adamant about not forgiving any inconvenience caused to myself or our child. I think the future relationship between the siblings hinges on sister-in-law's actions. Above all, sister-in-law's greatest challenge lies ahead. What will she say to her husband who's coming back from a business trip next week? We managed to arrange for the kids to stay with John's parents during the discussion on that day, so they wouldn't witness sister-in-law's disgraceful state. As soon as sister-in-law's husband saw her, she broke down crying and deeply apologized. Her husband was confused until father-in-law and mother-in-law filled him in, after which he was furious. Feeling lonely, she had found comfort in a young man. She insisted she had done nothing more than financially support him. She said she'd repay the money to her brother and his family, but from the husband's perspective, it was understandably infuriating to come home from work to this mess. Though he blamed himself, the thought of the kids made his heart ache. From then on, my sister-in-law was sued for damages by her husband. Just selling lottery tickets part-time wasn't enough, forcing her to also work nights. Under such dire circumstances, her previous aggressive demeanor faded away as if she were a changed person. Once so quick-tempered and argumentative, especially around the preschool, she's now so unobtrusive. She's hardly noticeable. As for our family, John returned home after his work assignment was over, and our son was absolutely thrilled, enjoying each day. I continue with my part-time job thinking it best to save as much money as possible, but I recently fell ill and had to visit the hospital. According to the diagnosis, we were delighted to learn we're expecting our second child. John was thrilled, and we later safely welcomed a baby girl. Now, as a family of 4, we cherish our happiness.